I thought that I would share some insight on how to overcome the struggles of life. If you didn't know, I make a lot of videos relating to this theme of overcoming struggle, personal, the things that, they may not be so noticeable, but you go through it nonetheless. It's like kind of like these inner demons, these inner problems, um, vices, toxic habits. I speak on this a lot, and I hadn't, through the course of my experience of life, I still fail, or I have failed when it comes to avoiding this, avoiding all the vices. So it's becoming more and more noticeable that having a schedule, setting that schedule, and following that schedule, that could be a way to deal with this. This is a way to successfully prevent these vices from becoming a problem. Because if you are just simply sitting down and do not have any kind of idea of what you'd like to do in terms of a schedule or a structure in your life, where you tell yourself, I'm going to accomplish this task that requires action, me to move around, me to use my mind, and actually take that action to complete these tasks. I'm being repetitive, but it's kind of important that I speak on this. So I'm seriously finding that it's not about enjoying what you're doing per se. It's not about like how much of that fun you can have doing it. It's more of what's it gonna lead to, because if we've got this long-term fulfillment that we're seeking throughout that process, it's not about how much fun you're having doing it or how much comfort. I think that might be a better word, because we like to experience comfort, and our natural instinct would be to just sit down and do nothing because it's easier to do that, to put in the least amount of effort possible, or exert the least amount of force, so that we're not putting too much strain on the body. But it's not really about that, because I do think that there's such a thing as overexertion, where you are damaging your body, but the exact opposite is not good either, where you're just you're being lazy. This is sloth. It's you have too much time on your hands, and at that point, other issues will arise. And the reason I say this, because I experienced it myself. So I hope that you're taking into account what I'm saying, because these are real life examples of, sitting on a couch, sitting on a chair, laying in a bed, watching the TV for too long, being on these screens. Like, I'm using this phone to record a video, but being on it for too long, without being productive. If you have a schedule and you follow that schedule, as I had said before, it can be very fulfilling. It can go a long way. For me, it's about workouts, physical activity. Um, this may not work for you, but um, I'll share it anyways, because I think that many of you will resonate with this. If you find yourself having too much time on your hands and you're able to just resort to these vices, you're succumbing to your vices frequently, then work out harder. If you have workouts, if you like to be active, whether it's running, weightlifting, playing a sport, yoga, take it to a new level. For me, I was running maybe once or twice a week, and I was maybe doing one or two lifting workouts a week. So if you count that up, I was doing maybe like 2 or 3 hard workouts a week. When in reality, I'm realizing doing 6 hard workouts a week, whether it's like 4 hard running or mix it with lifting 2 or 3 days a week or more, and giving myself like 1 day of rest, I'm not going to have as much time to succumb to vices. So it's not about enjoying the workout, because that's not comfort, but it's doing something that I know I'm capable of. I'm certainly capable of it, and I'm going to have less time to resort to bad, toxic vices. Sloth can lead to lust, because if you are lazy all day, if you're sitting down, you have nothing to do, your mind might start to wander. And when your mind wanders, you just start daydreaming, imagining. You're not doing anything. But then those thoughts become impure, most likely, because you've got nothing to do, and that imagination might take over, and it could lead to more toxic thought patterns, and lustful thoughts start to creep in. And all of a sudden, you may waste several hours out of your day when you told yourself, I'm not going to give in to these patterns. But I talked about sloth and lust, also gluttony. These are lower chakra tendencies that people often get stuck in when there's not a structure in place for you to do. When you do work out very hard, once you're done with that workout, you're not going to want to engage in a lower pattern, because you worked yourself. You were able to complete a task that you can be very fulfilled with. So when you do this weekly, daily, monthly, every day, like let's say 6 days a week, and you complete each day, then the weeks pass and the months pass, a year or more pass, and all of a sudden, you're stepping into a long-term lifestyle that you're gonna find fulfillment in. And this is a way to conquer those inner demons, those vices. And I've failed up to this point, and sometimes I do better than others, but some days are better than others. All I gotta say is that commitment to setting a schedule, following that schedule, not cheating yourself. Make sure you're not being too comfortable. You ever wonder why the education system's put into place, or these structures? It gives you that thing to do to make sure that you're not becoming lazy. You're not becoming something that you do not want to become. As simple as that. Stay away from your vices, but more importantly, understand that this schedule and finding structure can be the answer that you need, because it doesn't matter if you realize something's bad. Our minds can trick us, and then we can convince ourselves to do it anyways. But this is a method. So I hope this resonates.